Hello and welcome to Growth Mindset with Arsalan. Today we will learn V, H and XLOOKUP functions. VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup and looks the data in the vertical list. If you want to join two tables on the basis of common data column, then VLOOKUP is an answer for you. Later on in the tutorial, we will see HLOOKUP, that is a variation of VLOOKUP and looks the data horizontally. Lastly, we will see that how the XLOOKUP function works. XLOOKUP is a better variation of V and HLOOKUP. Let's dive straight into the tutorial and see how these super important functions can help to improve your work efficiency and make data wrangling much more easier. Firstly, we will look at how the basic VLOOKUP function works. Example 1. Table 1 contains 4 columns: SKU code, date, quantity, and description. Table 2 also contains the same columns, but table 2 is missing in the description column. And now we want to fetch on the basis of the SKU code the description from the table 1. There are two ways to do it. Either we go into the Formula tab, go into Insert function, write VLOOKUP, press Go, and we can select VLOOKUP from here and OK. Now it is giving us 4 arguments: lookup value, table array, column index number, and range lookup. Lookup value is basically we want to look up on the basis of SKU code. So this is going to be our lookup value. Now from table 1 we will want to search on the basis of the lookup value. We want to pick up the description. So we select the whole table and we are going to fix it by pressing F4. Now moving on, next, column index number, the third argument. Basically in the table we have selected as table array. This is the first column from where we want to make the basis and pick up the item description. This is the first column, date is the second, quantity third, and description is the fourth column. So we will be writing 4 over here. And we want to find an exact match, so we will write false. And now we press OK and we get our desired results. Now we copy it and paste it down and we get what we wanted. Now if we want to see another way of doing it, we can write is equal to VLOOKUP and we click it, and now the first argument being shown here is lookup value. Lookup value, as told earlier also, is this, and table array, this is the table from where we are fetching the data. This is the table array. We are going to fix it by pressing it F4, and then now the column index number is going to be first column, second, third, and fourth. 4 again, and we select the false and close the bracket and pressing it enter and copying and pasting it down, and it gives the same result. So this is how basically the VLOOKUP function works. As seen in previous example 1, so how the basic VLOOKUP function work, here we have a similar table that contains again the SKU code, date, quantity, and description. Now on the basis of the SKU code, we want to pick up the quantity in table 2. We have 2 columns of quantity because we are going to see the 2 variations of the same thing. One where we are going to encounter a problem using the VLOOKUP function, and the E column of quantity, how we can resolve it. So let's go with the VLOOKUP function over here. In table 2, column D, cell D14, we write VLOOKUP, we select it again, and now it's asking for the lookup value. As in the last table, we give this as a common column in both of the tables, and we put a comma. Now we have to give the table array. We go in the table 1 from where we want to pick the quantity. We can select the whole table or we can select till quantity because this is our desired range. But even if we want to select till description, it is not a problem. So for time being, we selected till quantity. We fix it by pressing F4. Now moving on to column index. This is the first column, SKU code, date is the second column, and quantity is the third column. So we're going to press 3, comma, we want an exact match. We go with this and close the bracket and press the enter. Now we just copy it and we go down all the way down and paste it. Now here we see that we get an NA. What does NA stand for? It is an error. This code, this particular code, is not present in table 1 of example 2, and that is why no value was found, and as a result it gave NA error. Now NA error has its own problem. We have applied a sum function over here, and because of NA error, all the things down the line will convert into NA, and we cannot make a total of it. So we are going to see that what is a solution to it. Now to avoid NA, we are going to write again the Vlookup function. Vlookup, we select it and we select the lookup value, that is the SKU code, and on the basis of this SKU code we want to fetch the data from table 1, and we select the table. We fix it by pressing F4, column index, first column, second, and third is the quantity column. Press 3. If you're picking up description, then we would have written 4. So we want an exact match, and now we close the bracket. Now there is an addition to it. We are going to be using another formula with the Vlookup formula, so we get it done in a way. So if we want to make the summations or any other calculations, so this NA figure is ignored, and for that we are going to use, we just enter in the cell, we put another parenthesis around the Vlookup formula, and we go in the beginning and we write if error, and we select it, and now it says that first value is the Vlookup value, and if it does not find it, then we can return the value of our choice. So we can say that we write it not found, and we close the inverted commas and we press enter, and we copy it and paste it down, and now it says not found, but we can see that it is not affecting our formula. We have a summation formula over here, we are using the sum formula over here, we are calculating it, and we are getting our desired result, whereas in column D we are not getting our desired results. We can use any formula and get our desired result. We want to use average formula, we just go through it and we get an average of it. However, we copy it and paste it in the column D of the table 2, example 2, and we still get NA, so we're not getting our desired results. So it is important to see that with the help of if error and combining if error and Vlookup, we're getting our desired results. And now we will be moving on to example 3. In example 3, we will be using Vlookup function, and in it we'll be using the wildcard to get the desired information from one table to another. In this column C in table 2, under the department name, we will be using the simple VLOOKUP function, and we will see that how it performs. We apply this VLOOKUP and we select it, and on the basis of name, that is going to be the lookup value, we will be selecting the table array from table 1 from where we want to pick up the department name. We fix this, then the column index is first is the name and second is the department. So we are going to write this 2 columns, and now we are going to say we want an exact match, and we close the bracket and press enter. We copy it and we paste it down, and we get our desired results in some of the cells, whereas in front of the row number 17, that is here, and row number 20, we're not getting our desired results. We can see that James in table 1 has full name of James Robert, so it is not an exact match and it is not giving the result. Whereas Nathan Leo in table 1 does not have a second name over here. So we are missing the second names James Robert and Nathan Leo as second names are missing. Now what we are going to see is that we will apply VLOOKUP. We select VLOOKUP once again. We say that James on the basis of name, and we select write an ampersand sign, then open bracket, then using the wildcard character, it states that anything first name along with anything that comes after it is going to be selected. Now we place a comma, table array, we go in the table 1 and we select the table. We fix the array, and now this is name is the first column, department is the second column that we want to pick the data from and fill in the table to this column. So 2 we write, and we write for an exact match. We close it, we enter it, and it is giving us marketing. Now we copy the formula down and it is giving all the names. Now we can see that it is picking up the data from James Robert, that is marketing, and James is marketing. Now if we are going to place, we go in the cell, we delete this wildcard and we put it before the name, and we put an ampersand sign, and now it changes from marketing to production. So anything before James now becomes the second name, and here we see that James as second name is production, and so it picks up the production. That is how you can use the wildcard in VLOOKUP to match data which is partially matching, and you can see how you can use it best. Now we move on to example 4. Here in example 4, we will see the effects of leading and trailing spaces while using the VLOOKUP. This can happen if you downloaded the data from another system. In table 1, example 4, we can see that we have name and department column, and in table 2 we have name and 2 department columns. In first column C of table 2, we are going to apply the simple VLOOKUP function, and let's see what happens. We select the VLOOKUP. Lookup value is going to be the name, and table array from where we want to get the department names is going to be table 1, and we select the table array, we fix it, and the column index number is 2. First is the name, second is the department column. So second column we want to get our data from, and we want an exact match, and we select this and we close the brackets and we press enter, and we get an error. However, we copy it down and we see that we are getting errors in 2 of the cells, that is C18 and C15. Now what exactly is causing the errors in these 2 cells? We have trailing spaces. If we enter in cell B15, we can see here that we have trailing spaces. We have trailing spaces, which is making it an imperfect match from the table 1. Whereas in table 1, if we see the Kevin James does not have any trailing or leading spaces. In the same case, Nathan Leo has leading spaces, and which is making it an imperfect match. How can we solve it? Now we're going to combine VLOOKUP along with trim function, and we will see that how we can get our results. So we go in the formula tab and insert function, and we select VLOOKUP and OK, and we are looking on the basis of the name. However, we will close the brackets and write a trim function to it. And table array is this one. We want to fetch the data from table 1 and we fix it. And column index is on the basis of name. We want to get the department, so first column, second column, it is 2, and we want an exact match, so we write false and we press OK, and we get our answer. Now we copy it all the way down and we get our desired results. So if you have some problem resulting from leading or trailing spaces, a combination of VLOOKUP and trim function can make a deadly combo, resolving all of your problems and resulting in accurate and quick results. Now we move on to our example 5 and see how other problems can be solved. In example 5, we can see column C, D, E, and F. Each of the column is of varying length, but we want to pick up the last numeric value from each column. For instance, 3202 in from this column, 4247 in column D, 568 in E, and 6888 in F. The problem here is that each of the column consists of varying length of rows. So we are going to use the VLOOKUP function to get the last numeric value from each column. We will be applying VLOOKUP. We select VLOOKUP, lookup value. It is important for the lookup value, it doesn't really matter exactly what you are searching for, just so long as it is larger than any possible number in the list. This is really cool use of the rare version of VLOOKUP. So we will be writing 99,999, and this value is larger than any other value written over here. So now the table array is going to be, we want to search in this column. This is the table array. The column index number is going to be 1 because this is the only column from where we are fetching in the data. So it is going to be 1, and now we will give it a approximate match rather than an exact match, and we close the brackets and we press enter. We just increase the length over here equal to the length of column F, so we press it enter and we copy it, and we can see that the last value over here, numeric value 3202, 4247 in column D, 568 and 6888 appearing in F from here to here. One thing that is important to note is that while we have applied the formula, we can see that there are a lot of blank cells, so it's ignoring the blank cells, and it is also ignoring the text written over here. It is also ignoring the NA error that is appearing over here. So it is picking up only the numerics, and if we want to do the same in the text, so we can use the VLOOKUP formula and see how exactly it works. We apply the VLOOKUP formula over here, we select it, and lookup value for this is, as it is going to be a character, and we write pentazets, and the table array is going to be this column. We are looking from only one column, so it is column index number is going to be 1, and we want an approximate match, and closing the bracket, pressing enter and copying it all the way through to Y, and we get the, now we will see that we got the what we wanted exactly, the tyh from column A, tg from B, triple s from C, and yuj from here. We can see over here that we have blank cells, but it is not affecting our formula. And this is how we can achieve what we wanted to achieve, the last text in each column. And that's it for the VLOOKUP function. Now, as we have seen a fair bit of VLOOKUPs, it is time to dive into the latest family member of lookup functions. We will look at XLOOKUP through various examples, giving you different scenarios where you may apply this massively powerful function. Now we are going to see how the XLOOKUP function works. We have a table that contains item code, product name, store ID, and here we have two columns in G6 and H6 where we will fetch the product name from table 1, that is here, and we are going to make a comparison of how VLOOKUP works and how the XLOOKUP works. So we begin by VLOOKUP. We select VLOOKUP. This is going to be the lookup value through which we are going to search our data from table 1, and next the table array is starting from here, and we are going to select the whole table till product name because we are looking forward to product name. Lookup value needs to be on the left side. Column index number is going to be 2 because first value and the product name is second column, so we're going to write 2, and we want an exact match, so we are going to write 0 is for the exact match, or we're going to write false, same results. We get our product name. Now we are going to apply the XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP, and we select it over here. Now the first thing is the lookup value, that is same. The lookup value in the VLOOKUP was also same. Next is lookup array. Previously it was in VLOOKUP, it was table array. Now it is lookup array. This is the lookup array. On the basis of this code, we want to search from all these codes. So we select this column. Now it says return array. What exactly we want to return? We want to return this column, product name, as we are looking over here for the product name, and we want exact match, and for exact match either write false or we write 0, and we close the brackets and we press enter and we get the desired results. VLOOKUP and both XLOOKUP are giving the same product name, and obviously it should be same. Now in another example, we're going to see that how the XLOOKUP function is superior to VLOOKUP function. We have product name as over here, and on the basis of product name we want to fetch the item code that is on the left side of the product name. So let's see how VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP perform. Again, we write VLOOKUP, we select it, and the lookup value is product name, and we put a comma. Then it asks for the table array, so we want to pick, on the basis of product name, we want to pick item code, so we select it all the way down, and we put first column and second column, first column and second column. We put 2 over here, 2 columns, exact match, yes, put a bracket around it, and we press an enter and we see it is giving an error. Now why it is giving an error? Because we need to ensure that any lookup value should be the leftmost column. This should have been on the left side. If this column would have been on the left side, then this formula would have picked up the code properly. but that is not the case. So this is the limitation of the VLOOKUP, that we need to ensure that the lookup value is on the leftmost side and the required data that we want to fetch should be on the right side of the lookup value. Now we see how XLOOKUP function performs. We write XL and it gives us option and we select it, and now the lookup value as in VLOOKUP is same, and we put this product name as lookup value, lookup array. Now it doesn't matter whether the lookup array is on the left side or right side, whereas it mattered in the case of VLOOKUP as described earlier, that the lookup value should be on the leftmost side, but it does not matter in the case of XLOOKUP. We are going to select on the basis of product name. We are going to select this, place a comma, and what exactly we want in return. What is the item code? So we want item codes. You're going to select it, this one. This is going to be the return array, and we want an exact match. We place a 0 or we write a false, and we close the bracket and we press enter, and it gives us our desired results. So this is the superiority of XLOOKUP over VLOOKUP that makes XLOOKUP so much convenient to use and such a powerful tool to use. Now we move on to another example where we will see that how the other variations of XLOOKUP can work, and in what scenarios exactly we can use XLOOKUP to make our work more efficient and hassle-free. In this example, we will be understanding match mode argument in XLOOKUP. We have two tables, table 1 and table 2. We have tax rate and max income columns in table 1, and we have again income and tax rate columns. But here the tax rate column is empty. So we need to fill tax rate column on the basis of income using different match mode arguments. So let's see how different match mode arguments work while using the XLOOKUP function. Now we will be looking at XLOOKUP. We select XLOOKUP, and the lookup value is the incomes. We are making income the lookup value, and lookup array from where we want to fetch the data. So the array that is going to be the lookup array will be this column, and now we want to have the tax rate, so we will be selecting this range. And now we will be using different match mode arguments. For exact match, we will be writing 0 or false, and it is going to give us exact match. $25,750 income, and here we see 25,750, 20% is exact match. Now we have the 15,000. We apply the XLOOKUP function once again. We select it, and lookup value 15,000, and on the basis of 15,000 over here as a lookup value, that is income, we will be looking, and the lookup array is going to be this column, and now the return array, we want the tax rates, and this time we will be using exact mode again for this by using 0, and we close the brackets and we press enter, and it gives any error. Now we can see in table 1 that we don't have any 15,000 income value, and as a result of that we are using the exact match, and 15,000 is not present in this range, and it results in an error that the data has not been found because there is no data, and we are using 0 as an exact match. If it would have found an exact match, it would have resulted in some percentage. Now moving on to our next example here. Next is we will be using 1 instead of 0 in match mode argument. So we again select XLOOKUP, and we lookup value is going to be this, and lookup array is going to be this range, and return array we want the tax rate percentage is this, and now we have 1. Now 1 is going to result in exact match or anything else return the next higher number. So we close the bracket and we see it gives 20%. See, now we have 20,000 as income over here and 18,250, and we have 25,750. So it is going to give the next higher number. We have 20,000, so it will give 25,750 percentage, the next higher number. And now we will be using in our last example of understanding the match mode argument in XLOOKUP. So we again apply XLOOKUP, and this is going to be our lookup value. Now we move on to lookup array is going to be this, return value is going to be this, and match mode this time we use -1. We close the bracket and we press enter. Now we can see that we have 20,000. We don't have exact match over here. -1 is going to result in exact match or else return the next smaller number. We have 18,250 and 25,715. So whichever is the lower, it is going to select that. On the basis of that, it has selected 17, and we can see that we have 17 when we use -1 as match mode argument. Now let's move on to another example and see how other variations in XLOOKUP function works. In this example, we will be using XLOOKUP as HLOOKUP, and we will also see how the HLOOKUP function works. HLOOKUP is a variation of Vlookup. HLOOKUP looks the value horizontally, whereas Vlookup looks the data vertically. Let's proceed with our example. We begin with HLOOKUP. Okay, we HL, and it gives us an option of HLOOKUP. We select it, and lookup value is the tax rate. Table array, this is the table array from where we want to pick our data from, and row index number. Tax rate is the first row, maximum income is the second row. We want to pick the data from the second row, so we write 2, we press another comma. We want an exact match, we select this, we close the bracket, and we get our result. So for 10%, 9,500, and here in this table also we can see 10% is 9,500. Now we will apply XLOOKUP function and see how it works, same as HLOOKUP. We write XLOOKUP, we select it, lookup value is the tax rate, lookup array is the tax rate in the table above, return array is the maximum income because this is what we want, and match is exact, so we write 0, close the bracket, and press enter. Here we see for 17% it's 18,250, 17% 18,250 it is. XLOOKUP is superior to V and HLOOKUP functions because XLOOKUP is the function that alone performs both V and HLOOKUP function, and that makes it superior to H and VLOOKUP. Secondly, XLOOKUP can find the data on its left side, whereas the VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP does not have this capability. And you have to see that the lookup value remains on the left side when we are using VLOOKUP function, but XLOOKUP can find the data on the left side as well as on the right side. So now we move on to our next example and see that how we can further utilize XLOOKUP function. In this example, we will be seeing that XLOOKUP function returning array with multiple items and summation using XLOOKUP. We have table 1 where we have employee ID, name, department and salary. Now we have another table that will be filled up the name, department and salary column using XLOOKUP as well as VLOOKUP to see a comparison how XLOOKUP makes the life much easier. So for instance, we have an employee ID of 6 and we apply XLOOKUP first and we select XLOOKUP and it asks for lookup value. This is the lookup value, the employee ID, and lookup array is employee ID in table 1. On the basis of employee ID, we want to search employee ID in table 1 and fetch the data. That is going to be a return array. That is going to be the name is the first column, and we will be having match mode of 0, that is exact match. We close the bracket, we press enter and we get rec. Now what we can do is we just fix all the columns. We fix the lookup value, we fix the lookup array, and we fix the return array. We have fixed everything. In fact, the return array, we make it whole table because we want to copy and paste the formula. So we copy whole table, so it covers everything up, and we press enter. Now we have name as Rick and we copy it and paste it, and we can see that Rick is here in 6th employee ID, and department is operation, which is matching, and salary is also matching. We change the employee ID to, for instance, 1. It changes to NED accounts 3500, and here also it is NED accounts 3500. To bring it back just for a comparison, we see that how VLOOKUP function works and how XLOOKUP is much more easier while just copying and pasting the information. Okay, we write VL and it gives us an option of VLOOKUP. We select it. Now we give the lookup value and the table array. Table array is the whole table. We fix it. Column index number. Now for name, employee ID is first and name is second, and we want to fetch the data from the name column because this is the name column. So we will be writing to first employee ID, second name, and we make it a exact match, and we close the bracket and we press enter. It gives us rec. Now if we copy and paste it, it is going to give, wait, we have to fix the first column, that is the local value as well. Now if we copy and paste it, it is going to give rec and all, because of the fact that we have to change this value over here, that is the column index number, because it is picking up the information of employee ID that is here in column 1 of the table 1, and the department column is third one. Now it is not second, first, second and third, so we will write third, and likewise we will have to write fourth column over here as column index, because it is fetching the data on the basis of employee ID. The employee ID is first, name is second, department third, and salary is fourth, so we will be writing fourth. It gets the same results, but we had to change the column index number in order to ensure that we get our desired results, whereas this was not the case when we were using the XLOOKUP. So it shows the superiority of XLOOKUP over VLOOKUP if we want to calculate the range, the summation of something dynamically. Okay, we write a sum function. We select it and we begin our XLOOKUP function. We select this. Now it asks for the lookup value. Our first lookup value is here. Lookup array is in table 1, that is here. Return array, we want the salary total, and we close the brackets. First lookup formula is complete. Now we want to sum the range, so we put the columns and we again apply the XLOOKUP. We select it. Now the lookup value is this end employee ID. Lookup array is employee ID. Return array is salary column, and we close the XLOOKUP formula bracket and we close the summation formula bracket, and we press enter and we get 20,500 as summation. Now the starting employee ID and we have ending employee ID. So from 2 to 5 we are summing it, and 2 to 5, and here if you see it's 20,500, and here as we have highlighted all these, here also it's showing 20,500. For instance, if we change it, this is now dynamic, we change it to 3 and 6. Now if we calculate over here, it's from 3 to 6, it is 20,300 and it is 20,300. We can apply a formula over here. Till 3, it's 20,300. So no matter how you change it, it is going to change dynamically, and it is going to have results as we require. If you have liked the video and you think that you have gained something from it, then hit the subscribe button. To show your appreciation, hit the like button. Your comments are a navigation tool for this channel, so give your comments down below in the comment section, and make sure that you mention any other topics that you want me to cover. And that's all for today. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.